Today we're talking about liquid death. Liquid death is water. Oh, what's up? What's up, Ben?
What's going on, man?
So, liquid death, mountain water, is marketing genius. They got polarizing, violent, downright hilarious branding. And the thing is, though, it's just water. But we came across liquid death when we were doing native root, and we were just taking notes like it's a masterclass in branding because when you're selling the ultimate commodity, the brand and the messaging has to really shine through. So honestly, I've never even had it. Ben, I don't think you've had it either.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, we did one time because we're
Yeah.
like we talk about it so much, but
Yeah.
I remember it just
It
tasted like
tastes like
water.
water. Yep.
Yeah, but I don't know. We're just like obsessed with the branding, marketing genius. It's awesome. So this show. What is this show? This is Third Wave, and this is episode number 6. So we're entering a new era in marketing. First, it was like traditional billboards, mail, newspaper, things like that. Next, it started to move to the internet, where people would try to like hack into search results. They would try to use metadata, and they would try to just get you to click and basically just steal your attention. And now, the third wave of marketing, we're focusing really on building trust, building a relationship with your clients, your customers. And Ben and I are here to basically help you sift through all that and figure out how you can create a predictable revenue source through things like digital marketing and digital advertising. So whether you're a small business owner or a CMO in a mid-sized company, we just want to help you understand digital marketing. So we're just going to get into it with liquid death. So here's a few little shots I got of their branding. They got this mascot. I don't know if this is appropriate for LinkedIn, but whatever. It's just super polarizing stuff. I mean, people get it tatted on their heads. They have diehard fans. And then, oh, here's me. So this is like what the cans look like. So basically what the founder wanted to do is actually, we'll just get into this video. So we're just going to kind of react to this little video of how liquid death came to be.
Real quick, Braden.
When I made this,
what's up? Oh, the coffee?
What coffee you drinking? Yeah.
Yes. So one of the parts of Third Wave is that we also drink Third Wave specialty coffee. And I got to ask you, I got to say, Ben, what are you drinking today?
Well, I'm drinking actually more of like a tea because I'm out of coffee, but I am drinking agua panela.
Okay, cool. We've had a lot of that in our day.
Yep.
And I'm drinking the same old Galena Ethiopian roast. So what was that face?
The face. I made a face.
Oh yeah, when I said that, you were like,
oh, really?
Anyway. All right, let's watch this video, and it's really interesting. I love it.
this brand, I didn't set out to be like, I'm going to create something that's going to be worth $1 billion. I was more like, I want to create something that's going to make my friends laugh. Most people get the humor instantly. We saw that all the unhealthy brands in the world of marketing were doing all the coolest, funniest, most irreverent marketing. So we thought it would be interesting to take the healthiest thing you can possibly drink, which is water, and one up the marketing of all the unhealthy stuff.
This is Mike Cesario, and he started Liquid Death as an experiment.
I knew that I had to basically test the idea to prove that it was viable.
For less than $5,000, he successfully launched the brand, and within months became more popular than billion-dollar water companies, and he didn't even have a product yet.
I think that's sort of when we knew, that we tapped into something. You just started your dream business.
So basically, right off the bat, in the very first teaser sentence, He said, I didn't set out to build some big billion-dollar business. I just wanted to make my friends laugh. And that was something that we were kind of trying to internalize at Native Root, was like, entrepreneurs, when the best things happen, it's almost a little bit serendipitous. And you don't like set out to make this billion-dollar thing. You're just setting out to really solve a specific problem for a specific person. And he was kind of just locking in on his friends and what he had seen in the energy drink world and how absurd their marketing is. So I think that's just a good lesson overall in entrepreneurship, is like, focus on who this is for and what they want, and not like how giant and scalable your business is going to be.
Yeah. Do you want to introduce Travis real quick?
Yeah, so we just had Travis join on. Travis, what's up? Hi.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
So Travis
Drinking some Native Root coffee as we speak.
Yeah. So Travis is one of our best friends. We go back to preschool, and he works at 6 a.m. in Kansas City, which is a newsletter company. He's a journalist and a writer, and he helped us launch and grow Native Root, which is our coffee company. So he just had he had some time available, and we just thought he'd join on.
So that's the Liquid Death founder. That's Mike, right? His name's Mike.
Yeah, Mike Cesario.
Who did he work for beforehand again?
Shoot, I don't know if it says. I think he just says big. He was in big marketing business, and basically, like, he would take orders from corporate, and he would try to convince them of things.
Yeah, because I remember watching some stuff about him, because obviously you kind of can see the way he's talking and some of the branding materials that you showed, that in previous videos, I saw him talk about how he hated like the corporate marketing because they never did what he knows would work, essentially.
Yeah.
It was more the like super friendly, not like worried about or not going to offend anybody type marketing, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And he, from I think a video I watched too, like part of his reason he started Liquid Death or started doing these videos just to prove a point as well, to showcase that like kind of not worrying about being almost offensive in your marketing, being, because people can tell it's a joke and stuff.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's really cool, and I think that's a good lesson to learn just for a lot of companies too, is all their stuff is super bold and very powerful and very up in your face. And not saying like every single brand needs to do that, but they do need to look at it in a way that, how can I do this that's going to fit my audience?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I did not really get it at first. I started seeing it like
don't
show up in different venues, and I was just like, is this like a new White Claw? Like, it looks like that, right? You know, it's got like the can is like very graphic, like White Claws are, and like it's got that kind of gothic print on it, you know? And then you find out that it's just water.
Oh, and I know.
I was like, I think the first time I read a can was actually pretty recently when I was at a concert in Kansas City and we were waiting, and I asked for some waters and they gave me Liquid Death, and I was like reading the can as I was like waiting for the show to start, and I was like, this is just a big joke. Like, you know, it's like talking about all the ways like this is going to murder your thirst, and I was like, this is just bizarre.
It's so funny.
How did this brand happen, you know?
Yeah, I know. In the beginning, I thought it was like, I didn't know if it was going to last. I'm like, this has got to be just a little fad thing. And then I started actually seeing their content, like their videos and stuff. And I'm like, this is genius.
Mm-hmm.
So then let's just get back into it. He'll talk a lot more. So
How much profit would you need to pay your basic living expenses like rent and ramen? This is a show on the economics of entrepreneurship and founders turning their dreams into reality. This is Ramen Profitable.
Mike Cesario is an ex-creative director for brands such as Netflix, Nestle, and Apple. But for an ad man, he's got an unlikely opinion of the work.
I just hate marketing. Like, all of it's so terrible. I never totally fit like the corporate advertising world. I always wanted to do really interesting, cool things, but most clients do not want to do interesting, cool things.
So Mike decided to create his own product, a sustainable canned water company called Liquid Death that would be marketed on the same level as unhealthy beverages.
Part of the reason it's called Liquid Death is because we're trying to bring death to plastic bottles, because most plastic isn't actually recyclable. So we designed a can, we shot a $1,500 funny video, and we made a Facebook page, put a couple $1,000s in paid media just to kind of spark the fire.
So he talked a little bit about the tie-in with Death to Plastic, which I realized quickly was like a huge amplifier in this content. Was not like just that it was crazy and wild, but there's like that really good message behind it, and it ties in with the whole death thing, and it makes this super violent, crazy brand like altruistic and trying to help the environment, which is sweet.
Mm-hmm.
So cool. And then he was talking about the startup. He's like $500 in a really funny video. It's like, you gotta admire what he's done, because it's like any marketer knows how hard it is to market a good product, a solid product, and he's marketing basically nothing.
Mm-hmm.
As like it's all message and it's all branding, and he took $500 in a funny video and a message and a logo, and it just took off.
Yeah, I think it does show you that you can do quite a bit with not much. And how he did just, I mean, I don't remember him ever going to super explain how he originally created Liquid Death or the product itself. I really don't remember if he talks about it in this video or in general. But that's like kind of something that I would want to know more about, because obviously he only put like $1,500, a couple grand into Facebook ads to boost the video. So really not much of a big investment for literally, and he didn't have a product, and now it's getting like hundreds of millions of dollars in funding to really launch and push it farther and farther. So it's like, that's super inspiring that you don't need much to be able to get really creative and touch your audience, right?
Yeah.
But I wonder how he started coming up with the messaging to kind of really besides like, so he said in the beginning, like, I wanted to create something to make my friends laugh. But then I wonder what kind of that strategy session he was doing in his head, or, you know, in his studio, writing things down to come up with the messaging, to come up with like doing the video that you're showing right now, essentially.
Yeah. It's probably like the stuff that we do in terms of strategy and the video ideas that we come up with before. I think a really underrated piece to this whole puzzle is luck. Because it's a weird topic, because some people want to say there's luck, some people want to say there's not. Like, imagine how many of these types of videos have been made and boosted around something in this realm and completely flopped.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had stuff that we've thought is super good before and absolutely flop. So not to say that our viewpoint of it, if it's good or not, is the end all be all.
So I think we can't underestimate the fact that he had already done like creative work for some of the biggest brands out there. So his network of people that are probably what he produced here
Yeah.
is A, probably pretty expensive, and B, also people at the end, if they share it, like that's kind of a big deal.
100%.
So, and I see this stuff, and it's imagine that they didn't have some sort of like, not like influencer resharing and stuff, but you know, people in the people, the top of the dollars he spent, disseminate it further. You know, those
Right.
were also probably fairly helpful. And if you get something like this, if you're in this creative world and you create those sentiments, especially in an era of eccentric media content like TikTok and YouTube, and then you have a platform where you're sharing with marketers and creatives, I wouldn't doubt that there's an element of luck for sure, but I think also he was very like intentional and smart about the audience and knowing to.
He got out. Travis he's kind of going in and out, but I think I know who's
Travis. We weren't liking his ideas.
We kicked him. No, but it's like, because on the topic of luck, sometimes I think about, if there's one person I think would have been successful regardless of luck or not, it's like Alex Hormozy. But then he always talks about how he got super lucky. So it's just a big part of this that I think we don't recognize enough.
Yeah, I do think you're right. There was a lot of luck involved because, I mean, I'm sure obviously he had influence with working with higher ups in Apple, Netflix, etc., all these brands, but it's also too of like there wasn't really an audience. Like it was his friends, supposedly, from what we know. And that was really it. And then he, you know, maybe he got some of the higher ups or something of the companies he worked with before to share it or stuff like that. But
yeah,
otherwise, it's more like there wasn't really a predetermined audience with Liquid Death, because it's like now there is, obviously, because it's very like kind of skateboardy, etc., kind of people like that type of audience that it really attracts. But
yeah, we will watch this commercial they're talking about later. But we'll just get back right into it right now.
Yeah.
4 months later, the video's got 3 million views. The page has more followers than Aquafina. We did better with social media with $3,000 than how much did they spend to get to where they got. We had something that maybe was magic. We used all of that to then actually go raise a small round of funding to actually make the product.
In January of 2019, they sold their first can online, and almost immediately they were selling out on Amazon and their website. But Mike realized there was a problem.
The internet is tough in terms of business model because beverages are heavy, and heavy stuff is expensive to ship. It ultimately needs to go to retail. Like when someone's thirsty, you're not going to log on the internet and wait 5 days to get that water. It's like, no, you want to be able to go into a store and buy it.
Yeah, we saw that, and this one's even tougher because the margins are way slimmer and the weight is a lot more, because with a bag of coffee you can get 30 cups out of it. This is like one can of water at a time. The margins and the weight, like that's going to be a super tough business model. It's like,
yeah, because one can is 12 ounces or 60 or a pound or whatever. I don't remember what they are, but
for
coffee bags were 12 ounces to a pound.
Yeah.
How
For
much do you
water.
think he's making on a case, on a 12 pack of Liquid Deaths, or 8 pack? I don't know what they come in. I don't know what they sell for, but like with shipping, man,
pack
this
is
has to be slim.
$15. So Yeah, I mean, it's slim. I mean, even though they're selling a brand, they're still selling water. So it's like it's going to be more, but yeah, slim margins. So yeah, retail is going to be huge for them,
Mm-hmm.
being able to just go in and buy it.
Which means he had to set up his distribution somehow and get it to go and monitor it. And
he's going to talk about that in a second. He's got a guy who goes around and that's his whole job. And he got to the point where like the brand exploded so fast that he was able to start doing these things. So yeah, let's watch for a little bit.
Selling water called Liquid Death to retailers turned out to be pretty hard.
The name always makes people nervous, especially like retail buyers. Liquid Death, like, I don't know, like they're just not used to anything that's not Coke or Pepsi.
But one area they found success in was bars and clubs.
There were bars that were like, yeah, this is never gonna work. I've never sold a bottle of water in here. We've tried. Cut to a month later, they're like, oh, I moved through 5 cases a week of this.
Whole Foods was like the first major breakthrough for Liquid Death. Like that's what really propelled the brand.
They saw Liquid Death and they're like, we don't have anything else in our store like this.
Isn't that funny that Whole Foods?
You know, the fact that it's infinitely...
Whole Foods? I would not have guessed.
Yeah, it does not seem like, I don't know, but at the same time, like Whole Foods is from Austin. Like, I could see the leadership from Austin being like, yeah, why not? Like, let's go, you know?
Yeah.
I think it could be more too with the fact like this is more towards when they're like very pushing out the death to plastic thing too. That in a way is like the more Whole Foods part of it too, is they're supporting something that is very sustainable, etc. And so that could have been a big portion.
Yeah, on the screen it says infinitely recyclable.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge.
Infinitely recyclable. It's just it's just recyclable.
I know. Forever.
But it goes on, yeah, it goes on with their brand of being ridiculous about everything, I suppose.
Yeah,
and that's so funny that they said like bars and clubs is where, because that's literally where I first like read it, was at a club for music.
Yeah.
And I think it's like there's one element that maybe is impossible to prove, but you don't look cool with a bottle of Aquafina. You do look cool with a can of Liquid Death. Like you don't have to be like, oh, I'm just drinking water. Like you can just like be drinking it and look like a badass.
Yeah.
Or like look like you're still drinking.
Yeah.
And that's like a totally different psychological element that I think probably comes to play for some people.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why I think influencers are really getting into it. There's a lot of influencers and stuff on YouTube drinking it. So
recyclable, and we give 10% of the profits to help clean up plastic from the ocean. We're getting into Target now, Publix, Albertson, Safeway. I mean, the floodgates have sort of opened.
And that's about it. This is my friend, Mr. Duck. He guards the van when I leave. He never lets up. His eyes are actually always open, too. It's pretty impressive. How's everything going, Jerry? You good?
In beverage, velocity is one of the most important metrics. And that's basically how quickly are people pulling it off the shelf.
Higher velocity means more stores and more shelf space.
It does get capital intensive in retail, which is why it's really hard to beat the big guys as a small upcoming brand. But like in a category where the playing field is very level in terms of the liquid, it's all about brand at that point.
Join us and Liquid Death in our mission to bring death to plastic bottles.
What we do, like it seems like, oh, they're just edgy, but it's actually like, it's a very fine line that we walk, where 5 degrees this way, it's totally lame, it's not cool, it's not funny. 5 degrees this way, it's too distasteful, and people just won't react to it or laugh at it. Our only chance at survival is to be able to punch way above our weight when it comes to like an awareness and marketing standpoint.
Yeah, dude, I would imagine it's very hard to balance that line. And
yeah,
because yeah, there's some videos where you're like, Wow. And then, but I applaud them for going after it. And that's why people love so much, I think, is because they're not afraid.
Yeah, one thing that I think he said that was interesting, he said like how they need to punch well above their weight, essentially with brand awareness, etc. Because that's what they don't have any room for customer acquisition to use ads to sell a case or whatever, because they're making like $3 or something a case or whatever it is. So they can't sell it for under $3. So they need to do these like, crazy videos that will go viral like over and over and over again and create this brand awareness. So people see it, people like Travis, you're saying, look like a badass or whatever. So then essentially that turns into they are creating enough sales volume from these videos that obviously it's going to be lower than whatever their customer acquisition cost, or it's going to be under their profit for their customer acquisition cost because of it.
Yeah.
But that's a tough game to play.
Yeah. And like with super, super tight margins, you can tell it just becomes much more of a brand awareness game, because like you can't have conversion campaigns. So you got to like go super broad, go for brand awareness. So.
If we just get our cans in people's hands and a couple people talk to them just because they're walking around with it, that's way easier to get them as a fan versus blowing $1 million on a TV commercial. To come up with truly innovative ideas, you basically have to trick your brain to do something that it thinks is a bad idea. Your brain is so programmed to do the things it's seen 1 million times before that most of the ideas you come up with, like, it's already been done 1 million times, or it's not actually innovative because it makes too much sense.
Those little stuffed animal things with just guts all over the place. Oh my gosh, dude.
What was the killer baby namer or something like that?
Yeah, let me back it up a little. I love
people's
it.
hands, and a couple people talk to them just because they're walking around with it. That's way easier to get them as a fan versus blowing $1 million on a TV commercial. To come up with truly innovative ideas, you basically have to trick your brain to do something that it thinks is a bad idea.
Killer baby namer. Here, I'm gonna
merch. It's on the merch store, so who knows?
It's so funny. That's really, really good advice, though. Is like, because trick your brain into doing something that you think is a bad idea, because you've been brainwashed to do all these normal things that everybody else is doing. So it's like, how the heck do you do that?
And like, so maybe I don't know, I could be way off on this, but like if it is truly a bad idea, you can probably recover from it, or just like stop doing it and pivot to something else.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, I don't know, even in like the startup phase, it's like I feel like you have a little bit of like room to adjust and whatever. And so like, I don't know, it kind of makes me think of like the throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's like the risk reward ratio. Like, you'll probably recover, but if you don't do this crazy stuff, then you might never even make it or have a shot of making it. So, yeah, risk reward. And yeah.
Your brain is so programmed to do the things it's seen 1 million times before that most of the ideas you come up with, like, it's already been done 1 million times, or it's not actually.
Dude, they made their own horror movie. It's like a full movie.
Really?
Yeah. It's so funny. I might show a little bit later, but it's so cool. I mean,
actually innovative because it makes too much sense. Almost always some of the best ideas come from unexpected places.
Liquid Death is now the most popular water brand on social media, and its cans are now carried in 16,000 locations throughout the US. And for Mike, entrepreneurship was giving him the creative autonomy he had always dreamed of.
The thing that I've always wanted to do is just put my money where my mouth is. In those boardrooms where I had to try to convince big companies to do the cool thing that they're like, no, we're not going to do that. Now it's all on me. Like, there's no stopping us from doing like world-changing marketing. Like, we can do whatever we want. It's up to us.
I mean, I have people like when I'm driving, they get rolled down the window. Do you have any shirts? I mean, ideally, I would like to throw one through their window, but that's not good. Can't be doing that.
When I made,
That's hilarious. It's like, that's the dream, is that last part he was talking about, is like creative freedom, not answering to people, because you know these ideas are super cool and you can just do it. That's awesome.
16,000 locations, man. That's
Wow, we were
a lot to keep
15.
track.
Yeah, it was a lot.
That's insane.
Unbelievable. We could watch the initial launch kind of commercial. If you go to liquiddeath.com, they're coming up with new ones every day. Super funny stuff. So let me just share my screen really quick. You can see that, right?
Hi, professional actor. And I'm going to tell you about a revolutionary new product. A bunch of marketing fuckboys have tricked you in water is just some girly trick for yoga moms. Just look at all the cute branding the gloves. Well, because I got news. Water isn't cute. Water is dead. It kills innocent snowboarders. Every year, water is responsible for thousands and thousands of deaths. Energy drinks only kill like, what, 1 or 2 kids? So please, don't fall for the market bullshit. Water is not yoga. Water is liquid death. And that's why this brand needs this, to finally give water the ice cold can and ice cold name it deserves. A brand that parents will hate, but kids might love.
Liquid Death Mountain Water.
Made from the deadliest stuff on earth. Please, enjoy responsibly.
So that was the initial launch. Now, there have been plenty of like extremely entertaining, funny ones since then. But that's pretty crazy. That's so funny.
Can you imagine like your first video is like based around waterboarding someone with your product?
I know, that's so awesome. I mean, not awesome, but you know what I'm saying. I love it.
Yeah. No, super creative, neat idea. And yeah, it's so funny. People just, every time I showed someone that video, they just die laughing at the end when they see it getting waterboarded.
Yeah. Oh, it's so. But so I actually made a formula a little while ago that kind of attempts to describe what they've done in order to be successful. So basically, powerful mission, which is death to plastic, plus an extremely unique brand. So that's kind of like the core of Liquid Death as a company. And then it is exponentially amplified by the crazy funny content, because that's what goes viral. That's what gets people talking about it. And then the more people that see it, the more diehard super fans it makes, the more people getting tattoos on their heads of Liquid Death stuff. So this is kind of something I do from time to time of big up and coming companies to try to turn business growth into like math equations, just to kind of over time see if there's similarities, see if you can start to pick out common occurrences. So
Yeah.
it's like that crazy funny content. So it's like without that, the brand could spread through just word of mouth and people seeing it. But it goes much, much faster and much more worldwide with that. Because like the power of the internet, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
think
I mean, sorry, go for it, Travis.
I was gonna say there's got to be some sort of like boots. So like brand awareness, yes. Like actually getting it in stores, there's got to be like some sort of boots on the ground variable in there. I'm like wondering what it was like when they went live. They sold their first can online, but then he said, but you can't just sell water online. So there must have been some sort of like realization process, whether like the sales started to dip or like he was just thinking ahead, and then hiring on that guy to just like get it in stores, and what that process was like, and if they were always profitable or if there was a time where they were just like burning money to get it out there before it took off more.
Yeah.
I'm so curious.
He brought that up a little bit, and he was saying that like once they had that huge virality and everybody started loving it and selling tons online, probably at a massive loss overall.
Yeah.
They got a lot of funding, like VC came in and they started funding it. And that's when they were able to launch the whole retail project.
Okay, interesting. So it was like the name recognition, the brand awareness, the viral content led to funding rounds.
Yeah, I mean, because they're getting millions and millions of views for every single video
Yeah.
they did. So they're starting to build a really committed following and community around it. Where if you can do that today, you can get a ton of funding. And then that funding allowed them to get into, thousands of stores at once versus so it's just like one and one and one.
Yeah.
And if you can show investors like concrete numbers of people wanting the stuff, then they'll be like, they basically caught lightning in a bottle. And that is the ultimate investment if you do that. And so those people have made a lot of money. But anything else you guys want to talk about? No.
I'm drinking some Liquid Life right now. I'm gonna go get some more.
What are you drinking, Travis?
Ember River, native root.
Nice.
Yeah.
Going strong with the native root.
Oh yeah.
They
had a bag. I'm at my parents' house. Actually, I'm in the basement right now. There's a bird chirping in the window behind me, and
nice.
They had a bag of Ember. So I was like, yes.
Nice.
Next to their Folgers, and I was like, I wonder which one I'll pick.
I'm sure it was a hard decision.
Yeah.
That was tough.
Yeah. All right.
So I think that wraps it up. Just a few things to bring to your attention. So every Saturday morning, we send out a newsletter, and it's basically to help keep marketers sharp and focused. And it's one actionable tip. So this week, we're talking about building trust through a 3-tiered system that we came up with. It's a bronze, silver, gold system of trust. And basically, we tell how you can move a person, a potential prospect, from one stage to the next. And I go in depth on the questions you need to ask, the things you need to make in order to do that. Because once you get someone to the gold level of trust, it's basically a done deal. So that will be coming out tomorrow morning. If you guys want to sign up for that, check out the link in the description.
I'm super excited for it. I signed up, I think, on Monday, and I can't wait for it. It's going to be super quick read, super easy. I love the way that you guys write because it's just like super casual, and we can never stop like learning and reminding ourselves of stuff. Because
For
you know,
sure.
I even like I'll think I'm like good with journalism and with writing, and then like I come across a super actionable tip and I employ it immediately, and I'm really like glad that I'm constantly exposing myself to new ideas. That's the only way we grow. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. Thanks for those kind words there, Trav. So, um, if you're a marketer or a business owner, you probably really resonate with this statement. I have no problem spending money on marketing if it works. But that if it works part is kind of hard to hold on to. Because the only way to find out really what works is either you're a magician, which we are not. Travis kind of looks like Harry Potter, but he is not. So we have to follow the 4 T's, which is target, tailor, test, and track. And to help us do that really efficiently, we have built Page Army, which is a system that allows us to create up to 10,000 landing pages in the snap of a finger. So,
Nice infinity gauntlet.
oh, I know. I'm like, it's a nice snap, but technically, instead of destroying all the pages, you're creating them. So yeah, we can dynamically populate these pages with your assets, like your products, your logos, colors, things like that, and then it'll allow us to A/B test very rapidly. So obviously, in marketing, A/B testing is so important because we don't know inherently what works. But then we have to gather the data so that we can actually see what to do more of, what to do less of. So if you see this dashboard, we use profitability metrics like ROAS and CAC to LTV to show us what's actually working from a profitability standpoint and not just cost per click and cost per lead. And the best part about all of this is that we are a performance-based company, which means if we don't make you money, then we work for free. So we have a few different pricing tiers based on your budget, and it's guaranteed to be profitable or else you won't actually pay us anything. So that's about us. And thank you for joining on and learning about Liquid Death. Ben, Travis, nice talking to you.
Great to see you. Thanks for having me.
Cool.
We'll see you guys.
All right. We'll see you guys later.
Yep, we'll talk later.